Dear Captain Harv, how can I decide if a flight is too dangerous to make before I depart? Thank you for that important question. It's a very simple matter of asking, is your name Captain Harv? If it is, you're good to go. But it's not, so sorry. But there is this thing called a risk assessment matrix that can help mortals such as yourself. You should have been exposed to the risk assessment matrix, or as our friends at the FAA call it, FRAT, at least once in your flying career when you were working towards your private pilot certificate. If you weren't, take the time to find your old instructor and flog them with a rubber garden hose. Go ahead, press pause on the video until you're finished. I'll wait. Done? Okay. Here's the risk assessment matrix as presented in my brain. The Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge. The risk assessment matrix asks the pilot the likelihood of an event occurring during a flight, and then assigns a level of severity should that event occur. For the sake of clarity, here's an extreme example. You tug your 1939 Beech Staggerwing out of the hangar for a quick lap around the pattern, knowing full well it has little to no engine oil. If you were to fire it up and take off anyway, there is a probable likelihood that a catastrophic event would take place. Namely, just as you're climbing through 100 feet AGL, your engine would go on strike like a French transit worker. And while your Aunt Louise might not be able to get from one side to the other of Gay Paris, you'll be nose down on the express lawn dart into Farmer Brown's cow patch. On the other hand, let's say the only thing you notice to be amiss is remembering that it might be time to replace the battery in your super awesome aviator wristwatch. But it seems to be working at the moment. It is improbable that your watch will stop working during your 20-minute flight. And even if it did, your flight is not dependent in any way on having a functioning watch, since you're only in the pattern flying VMC. So, a dead watch battery would represent an event of negligible severity. But the matrix shows its true power when helping you figure out something a little more subtle that could wreak havoc with your flight. Usually, it's a weather-related issue where the matrix shines brightest, by forcing you to imagine what-if scenarios. Say you're planning to race an oncoming frontal system to your intended destination. Using the matrix and good weather forecasting products like Progs and TAFs, you are compelled to imagine both the likelihood of encountering nasty weather and how bad it would be if you did. That, in turn, makes you realize that even a quick pit stop for bladder relief along the way could move the likelihood of encountering the stormy weather up the chart. Another thing you can use the matrix for is to reassure yourself that if you must divert, delay, or cancel your flight, it's not the end of the world. If the likelihood of not making it to your favorite $100 hamburger joint suddenly becomes probable due to some external factor, the severity of that event is negligible compared to the severity of plane-crushing wind shear. You should lay off the burgers anyway. Now, are you still wondering how to make sure you've thought of everything you need to consider with the risk assessment matrix? Of course you are, but that's why I and my superior intellect are here. PAVE, P-A-V-E, is an acronym you can use to divide the risks of flight into 4 categories: pilot, aircraft, environment, and external. They use the V instead of the E in environment because pay doesn't sound cool, and saying environment makes you sound dumb. Pilot is you. How you feeling? Did you plan your trip well? Are you current? Are you proficient? Aircraft is your aircraft. How's she feeling? Is she current? Weight and balance all good? Feeling confident about runway lengths and conditions at both ends of your flight? You get the picture. Environment is all the stuff outside like weather, terrain, airspace, time of day and season. And external relates to external pressures like the desire to impress someone, get their itis, and acknowledging the difficult reality that you're not Captain Harv. But don't get too down about it. Using PAVE to identify possible problems and the risk assessment matrix to analyze each element will help you become a little bit more like me. Captain Harv. Manly aviation perfection. Well, I really paved the way for pilots on that one.
Did you use PAVE when you crashed that air coupe?
Now, see here. That was not my fault. That was complete mechanical failure. Nobody saw it coming. I was just completely taken by surprise.